In this lesson, we'll be creating a CNC mill setup. After completing this lesson, you'll be able to create a new setup for a CNC mill, use direct modeling tools to remove a chamfer, and use isolate to view a single component. For this next lesson, we're going to carry on with our multi-axis multiple setups file, and we want to create a program to cut our soft jaw. If we expand our soft jaw component and get all the way down to our front soft jaw and rear soft jaw, I'm going to control select both of these, right click, and isolate. Both of these are identical. Because our part is symmetric, with the exception of our G54 position, both of these are going to be the same. What this means is we can simply create a single program that will cut both parts, and if we need to, we can post it without the counterbore in it for the G54 location, or we can include it and just ensure that this is coming off of a specific position on the machine. So we're going to focus our attention on just the front soft jaw, and we need to machine it from two directions. We need to machine the bottom side, so we have the slots and the tapped holes, and then we need to machine the top side, so we have this geometry here. You'll also note that there are some chamfers on the corners. Now, these chamfers are there just to break or cut the edge of the part, so that way we don't have a sharp feature. This can be done manually with a file. This can be done in many different ways. We're not going to be looking at cutting this inside of the specific part, so I'm going to omit those by first activating my component. Then I'm going to zoom in, select them, and delete them, which will take it out to a square corner. This way I have the correct outside shape that I can use to select the part. Anytime I want to do a contour, I can just grab the bottom face or the bottom edge and not worry about those small chamfers. When we're making a soft jaw, we're going to go at the process assuming that we have stock that is the exact right size. A lot of times what you'll find with companies that make a lot of soft jaws is they'll have a bunch of these already cut to size, and potentially they'll already have the features in the bottom. They simply need to put them in a machine and cut the geometry on top that needs to hold their custom part. So we're going to approach this in the same manner. But we do want to make sure that we include the bottom features, so that way we can create multiple setups to program this part. From here, we're going to navigate to our manufacturer workspace. And when we do that, notice that it brings a few things back on the screen. So you can see that we have our multi-axis setup 2, which contains a bunch of toolpaths, and currently they're showing that they need to be rebuilt. I'm going to use Control-G to rebuild all of those toolpaths, and they're going to be fine, and the only reason they need to be rebuilt is because we've exited the manufacturer workspace and we've made some changes to the model. We're not too worried about each of these operations, but what we want to do is we want to focus on creating a new setup just for our soft jaw. So inside of the model, if we expand our multi-axis multiple setups, we're going to hide our fixture assembly, and we're going to approach this as if we just had this soft jaw. So we're going to start by creating a new setup. Note that our units are inch, and our operation type is milling. I'm going to mill the bottom of the part first. I'm going to set up my coordinate system by selecting my z-axis, and I'm going to flip it over so that z is pointing up, and I'm going to flip my x-axis so that it's pointing off and to the right. Then my stock point is going to be the upper left-hand corner, assuming that we've placed this into a vise on a 3-axis CNC machine. Then inside of my stock section, we have relative size box, but I'm going to take off the offsets, and I'm going to set them all to 0. So this means that we have a part that's the exact right size. It's faced on all sides. We simply need to add the details and features that we need for our part. In the post-process section, I'm going to add 10001, and I'm going to add soft jaw link. So this way I know exactly which machine and which part we're working with. Once we've created that, let's go ahead and save the file before we move on to the next step.